I, 25 female, moved back in with my mother during the global issue to help her with something. I'm in the process of finding my own place now that she's better, but I live with her right now. Still, I must emphasize that I didn't move in because of financial hardship, and she needed me more than I needed her. Mom, 56, has a friend, Mel, 45 female, with a chronic disease. Mel and I have never gotten along, not since the first time we met, when she showed up at my mom's house dating a man half her age, and I asked if it was her son, and then she forced my mom to make me apologize to her in public. Mel is a deeply insecure woman who pretty much has no friends other than my mother. Mel is always bugging my mom to throw her parties, trying to get my mom to drive her places when she's not feeling well, and inviting herself over to my mom's place because she's lonely. I don't like Mel, and I avoid her. I avoided her when I was younger, didn't even pay any mind to her when I became an adult and moved out. Unfortunately, since I'm with my mom, she's also back in my life. Still, I only hear about Mel when my mom is done talking to her over the phone. She then subsequently whines to me about how draining it is to listen to Mel's problems. It was quite a surprise when I came home from a day out to find Mel in my mom's house sobbing. Before I could ask what was up, Mom told me that Mel's chronic disease has progressed to where she may need new organs. I get it, that's rough, and I don't begrudge Mel for coming to my mom for support, even if I personally don't want to host her. But without skipping a beat, Mel asked if I could get tested to see if I could donate an organ to her. And just as quickly as Mel said that to me, I loudly responded, "Absolutely not." Mom yelled at me. Mel started crying, and I just turned right around and left. I got home later in the day, and my mom was fuming at me and said I owed Mel an apology. I told my mom that asking for one of my organs is more invasive than asking to get intimate with me. Mom explains that Mel was very distraught by the news, and I should cut her some slack. I said that I cut her slack by leaving and giving her space, but owed her no apology. Was I the idiot for loudly refusing to get tested to donate an organ to someone I can't stand? Not the idiot. That is a very invasive question, and it blindsided you. It's very unfortunate that Mel has to endure this, but as an adult, you can behave and say whatever you would like to say without being held accountable. Your mom infantilizes you for making you apologize and screaming at you in a tirade. She should respect that you're an independent human being now. You can say things that don't necessarily appease her or align with what she thinks is appropriate. It might not be a delicate response, but you already said it, and there's nothing to do in hindsight. Apologizing to Mel, who wasn't fond of you or nice to you throughout your life, on the command of your mom, is outright demeaning. She assumed from the onset that you're willing to donate her your organs. She didn't ask if you wanted to comply. She asked impolitely if you're going to test to give it to her. I disagree. In this situation, a woman with a potentially deadly disease asked someone else if they would consider getting tested to see if they can donate organs. I think OP answering in a very rude manner because she admittedly does not like Mel absolutely makes her an idiot too. She could have just said no and walked away. There was zero need to be rude about it. So it's everyone's the idiot. Not the idiot. Tell her to ask her boyfriend. He sounds young and healthy. You used the same amount of tact as she did. I don't care if she was upset. I'd be mad at someone I don't even like asking me for my body parts. Agree. OP, your words were harsh, but what kind of entitlement does she have to demand anyone donate an organ to her? Both Mel and your mother are idiots for their actions. You should probably look into just going no contact until they both realize you aren't going to be lugged into their problems. You are the idiot, not for saying no, but in how you said it. Playing a little devil's advocate here as someone who needs a kidney. In my case, at least when they, my doctors, told me I needed one, they told me to ask everyone. Friends, family, neighbors, friends of neighbors, everyone. From what you said, she doesn't have any support system other than your mom, which can add to how terrifying the situation is. Was that the right time for her to ask? Should she have asked? Probably not. But this doesn't really come with a handbook. And no, it's not like she's asking to sleep with you. It's asking for help in saving her life. Again, not the idiot for saying no, But if anyone approaches you in the future, stuff like kidney disease is more common than you think. Just saying no, or even saying you'll get tested and then telling the doctor you don't want to, will suffice. I, 35 female, married my husband, 37, 10 years ago. Before our relationship, he had been married for 2 years to Liz, 22. Sadly, she passed away because of ongoing health issues. I met my husband 5 years after her passing. At the beginning of our relationship, I had some issues with his romantic history. To put it bluntly, I was having trouble accepting my husband's past and that he did not stop loving his late wife, but was forced to do so. I went to therapy for a year to treat that, and I managed to overcome this issue. My husband knew this and was very supportive of me in the treatment. I now like to say Liz and I would have been best friends. The issue. After 10 years of marriage, we've been having many arguments derived from bad communication. We just seem to blow everything out of proportion. After 3 months ago, every time we have an argument, he takes the car and goes away for hours. When I asked where he went, he told me he went to see her, Liz. Now, this is very weird because he, at best, visits Liz's grave 3 times a year. I then asked him not to run away every time we fight and to please tell me when he goes to the cemetery to go together. He just brushed me off. He has been doing this for months now, and it is destroying me. The feelings I fought the first year of our relationship are coming back. I am sad all the time. I cry at night, but my husband just keeps going away for hours. At this point, I think he's doing it out of spite more than anything else. Yesterday, I reached my limit. We fought over freaking trash. That's how petty our arguments are. He took the car at 4 p.m., returned at 11 p.m. I was waiting for him in the dining room. The convo went like this. Me, where were you? Husband, I visited her again. Me, I've told you multiple times about how your actions hurt me, and you continue to do them. Husband, you can't stop me from going. Me, well, we can get a divorce. That way you can marry Liz's tombstone, being that you care more about it than our marriage. I could see the shock on his face when I said that. I apologized immediately, but I think he did not hear me. I saw how he started crying. He's been locked in his office since yesterday and refuses to get out. I feel like the biggest idiot ever. What I said was a low blow and something horrible. I attacked him where I knew he was going to hurt. But at the same time, a part of me thinks that what he's feeling right now is just a fraction of what he has put me through for months. I literally made a vow to Liz the day I got engaged. I told her, you can take care of him from heaven, and I will take care of him on earth. I broke that vow. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot to yourself. Stop wasting your time on a man that's putting you second. Move on. He's obviously doing it out of spite. You deserve someone who puts you first. Also, what you said isn't any worse or better than what he's doing to you. Everyone's the idiot here. Neither of you should be married to the other, really. You because you've been jealous of his first wife from the word go, and you expected him to get over her. That's not how grief works. When you lose someone you love, you learn to live with the loss, but the love never goes away. Also hitting way below the belt in the latest argument. Him because the change in his behavior recently, disappearing for hours to visit his first wife's grave after every minor argument, it seems pretty suspicious. Either he never dealt properly with his loss from the beginning, or he's not honest with you about where he disappears. Not the idiot. Grieving is natural, but it's been over 15 years now. You seem to always come second to him. Divorce is not a bad idea. Not for him to marry the tombstone, but for you to stop second-guessing yourself and finally be first in someone's life, even yours. Alright, this is messy. My ex-wife and I got married at 23 and had 3 kids. The 3 kids are nearly adults now. I recently found out my ex-wife has been cheating on me for 3 years. Once I confronted her, she broke down, saying that I was never home, always working. By the way, I worked like that so she could be a stay-at-home mom. I raised my kids to know that cheating is one of the worst things in the world. If you no longer love someone, break up with them. Don't cheat. Even if you have issues in the relationship, work it out or leave them. Now, before we set them down, their mother begged me not to tell them she cheated. I told her that if they asked, I would not lie. She tried to dance around the whole reason for the divorce, citing adult issues. Finally, the teen asked why we were getting a divorce, and I told him flat out she cheated on me for 3 years. The mother immediately burst out crying, and all the kids were incredibly angry with her. It's been 3 months and they still haven't spoken to her, saying she ruined their family and their lives, and that she's a cheater and a liar. She's been coming after me online, saying that I'm a bastard and ruined her relationship with her kids. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I am a child of divorce. I would have rather known the truth when my parents split than learn it a few years later. Your wife cheated, that is a fact. She wanted to conceal that fact. That is an unrealistic expectation. The bad news is not a fine wine. It does not improve with age. Her relationship with the children took a back seat to her infidelity the moment she cheated. You owe her nothing, especially lying to protect her. She's been coming after me online, saying that I'm a bastard and ruined her relationship with her kids. OMG, the nerve of that woman. She destroyed her relationship with them when she decided to cheat on you. 100% not the idiot. And thank you for being honest with your kids and treating them like adults and not trying to sugarcoat it. They deserve honesty and transparency in this situation too. Putting your personal mess online is so high school. I don't need to read that stuff from my friends. It's not my business. Don't get me involved. Plus, she's putting the stuff out there for OP or one of the kids to reply to, and then everyone knows she cheated. This isn't a case of I made an oopsie. Oh well, nobody's perfect, LOL. 3 years? Think back to where you were and what you were doing 3 years ago. That is a lot of shared meals together. The kids were a lot younger. Maybe some vacations together, some intimacy. Badmouth her all you want. We are too nice as a society. You can't do something so stupid that you know is wrong and then pretend you are the victim and don't want people to rub your nose in it. Everyone's the idiot here. Your kids will eventually find out, but it looks from the outside like you did that more to hurt your ex-wife, which she deserves, than to be honest with your kids. My problem here is the delivery. Your children just found out their lives would change, and making it as seamless for them as possible should have been your priority. I was a child when my parents divorced with similar issues. It was never kept from me. I heard it all. Resentment didn't set in until the last few years. I am around 30, and I now truly see how immature and petty it was of both my parents to not shield me from some of that. So be prepared for that in 10 years. I'm a recent grad living slightly above poverty and trying to pay off loans. I recently won $10,000 from a gifted scratch ticket. I live with a roommate who knew about the winnings. Soon after asked for money for a surgery. I wasn't comfortable just because, well, it's my money and I'm broke and need it. She then accuses me of looking down at her because she's a waitress. And so why would I give trash her money? I didn't know where she was coming from, but felt really bad. Mind you, I'm not living a life of prestige. I barely make above minimum wage, even with my degree, and was hoping to use the money for my loans. Anyways, she kept asking every day to give her $3,000 for a life-saving surgery. So now she is saying the surgery is life-saving. I'm a very private person, so I don't want to police her on this surgery, but I did ask her what the life-saving surgery was. She says it's none of my concern, but it involves her uterus. Okay, just to stop all the nagging and because I started feeling bad, I considered giving her the $3,000, but she said she had absolutely no money saved at all. But then on Facebook yesterday, I saw a post where she was showing off her hair extensions. They were costly, and she was proud that she saved quickly enough from tips to pay for them. So when she asked me for the money, I asked her about the extensions. I told her I didn't feel comfortable anymore because I only considered it when she said she had no means to pay for the surgery. She called me an idiot and said I could not tell her what to do with her tips. And again, said I was treating her poorly because she was a waitress, even though I said nothing about it. Just that it appeared she did have some money. So, am I the idiot? What surgery do you need the money for? None of your business is probably the worst sales pitch I've ever heard. You are not the idiot. The surgery clearly isn't life-saving if she has money to be spending on extensions, and you also aren't obligated to give her the money regardless. Again, she sounds like an entitled leech. That's a huge red flag for me. For all you know, it's for some plastic surgery procedure, and she could be doing mental gymnastics to justify it to herself by saying it saved her mental health or something. I know that it's a bit of a reach when I clearly can't read her mind, but she's saying it's not your business when you'd be the one funding the operation. Makes me feel like she doesn't want to tell you because it's not really life-saving. I seriously thought it was for a boob job, which is necessary because it's a cure for her depression. Also, never give someone the money directly. Always ask to pay it directly to the service provider if possible. This way, at least you can be sure that the money is going towards the actual service. I, 25 female, have bonus step-siblings through my papa and his husband, and half-siblings through my mom and her husband. Background info: my parents never really dated. They were friends in college, and as my papa says, you happen to happen. I spent my first years jumping between their houses. Then when I was 3, my mom had my younger half-sister. She was born severely disabled, so they decided it was best to move closer to my mom's parents in Chicago to have a support system. I stayed with Papa. By then, he was in a long-term relationship with his future husband, Dad. Dad had 2 kids already from a previous relationship, so we've all grown up close. My bonus sib's mother passed, and so we grew up together as proper siblings, no jumping houses or splitting weekends. My grandparents on my papa's side are homophobic. They only had one child, my papa. He has always been unequivocal that he's a proud gay man. They refused to acknowledge that they disowned him and never spoke to him or wanted anything to do with him for over 20 years. They did, however, want me. They would send me gifts for my birthday and Christmas, would call and check up on me. They say I'm proof that their son chose this ungodly life and could be a good man if he wanted to. When I became a teen, I tried to distance myself from them, but they're extremely influential, and I soon learned it was better to play along than put up a fight. When they passed earlier this year due to you-know-what, they left everything to me, which adds up to a few $100 million in assets, as they own several vacation units in several countries. I initially tried to sign it all over to my papa, but he refused it, saying he wanted nothing from them, but that this was a life-changing opportunity for me, and I should accept it myself. I then decided to share it with my bonus siblings, so we split the properties evenly. I believe that's fair. While the Grands were never cruel to my sibs, it was clear they disapproved of them. So giving their hard-earned 40-year empire to people they hated felt really great in a way. My mom's husband heard of it somehow and called me furious. He says it's disgusting and disgraceful to give to married strangers and not my own flesh and blood. He and my mom have 3 kids now, 2 of whom are disabled and require lifelong care. He says the money would be crucial to them living a full life, and it's my responsibility as an older sibling to look after them. Besides a few weekends and 1 week every summer, I haven't seen my mother or her family since I was 3. I'm not close to them. My dads were angry when I told them. They chewed mom's husband out. It became a huge fight, and now everyone is mad at everyone. My mom called me saying that it's up to me, but that I can make a real difference, and I'd be cruel not to take it. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. They didn't care that much before you inherited a ton of money and properties. They're trying to emotionally manipulate you, and it's nonsense. They're not entitled to your money, period. And you really have no responsibility towards people who were never a big part of your life and didn't seem to make a big effort to be a big part of your life. Your mom's husband is a huge idiot for calling your siblings married strangers. They are your siblings and family in every way that actually matters. That said, a few $100 million is a lot of money. If you feel generous and want to give some to your siblings for their medical care, it would be a kind thing to do, and you probably would sleep better at night if you do it. But you are not an idiot if you don't.